Right, I'm Sarah. I am from the Herefordshire and Worcestershire Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here to chat to you all today about my background, what I do with the Chamber, and about networking in general, and how we can get the most out of the time that we have and what we pay for. So you're all here today because you want to promote yourselves. You all want to gain contacts. Everyone's got their different reasons, whether it's your own business or whether it's someone that you're working for. The whole point of networking is never really to come into a room and get a sale, because if you have the attitude of I'm going to go in there and I'm going to come out with a full order book, I think we can all agree we might walk out of here today quite disappointed. If we have good conversations, we meet interesting people, we can get a value from it, whether that's an order in the here and now or whether it's someone getting in touch with us further down the line. My background is a bit of everything. So before coming to the Chamber, I have done retail, I have done hospitality, I've done hairdressing, I've done a foster care agency, I've done manufacturing within print, I've done manufacturing within furniture, I've done property development, I've done recruitment, and I've been a mum. And that's about it, but a bit of everything. And when it comes to talking to businesses about what they do, I've never met a more interesting group than the work that I do with the Chamber. It's only been a year. This week I've met a pharmacy. I've met a gentleman who does talks on domestic abuse. I've met a landscape gardener. I've met a guttering and fascia specialist, roofing contractor, and I've met all of you. So my job every single week is massively varied, and it's all of those introductions and all of those people that can be part of a room, part of a connection that we have. The point of Chambers was to set up a community, and I've said it to Steve before now, the concept of shop local, find local, support your local team, your local businesses. Everyone has thought that this is quite a new idea. It goes back over 100 years to when the Chambers were first set up. The idea is we are better and stronger when we are connected, when we talk to other businesses, when we invest in our local people and skills and develop and grow bigger and grow better and more money and all the things that we want out of our businesses. So that's the concept of the Chamber. And everyone knows that the Chamber does networking, we do forums, that's the idea of it. But there's a lot of other things that we do as well. That's for another time. And if anyone wanted to talk to me about what we do at the Chamber and what those other things are, such as health and safety advice and HR support, then you can by all means get in touch with me. I know that there are quite a few Chamber members within the room. You can talk to them. Don't take it from me. Find out from them what we do. But what I wanted to talk about today is about networking, about how we get the most from our networking and what we can do when it's not about giving someone your business. There is no way that everyone in this room can give business to every single person in this room. It's impossible. There are some overlaps within the room, if you've heard, maybe a couple of different law firms, a couple of different insurance places. So we can't always say yes to everyone. Yes, I'd love to do business with you. Yes, I'd love to invest in you. Yes. Not every single person in the room will want to be a Chamber member. That's great, that's fine. For those that are, I hope you get the most of it. For those that aren't, if it's not of value to you, I wouldn't expect you to be. But what we get through networking can be so much more than that. So what I decided to do was try to write down what are the things that we can give for free. So when we're in the room and when we're talking to people, if we're not giving our business, if we're not giving our hard-earned money, what can we give? And I came up with a few different ones, and I'd like to know if there's anything that you'd like to add to my list. So we can give advice, okay? Constructive criticism, not criticism, constructive criticism. We can give praise. We can give recommendations. I've got a brilliant chiropractor. He's not part of the Chamber, but if anyone's got a bad back, I'll recommend him any day of the week. We can give tips, reviews. I've said to Ali already, I'll give her a review, a testimonial. That's great, it's not going to cost me anything. In fact, she saved me money, so it's even easier for me to do. We can give feedback and support. We can give empathy, not teasing people when they're really nervous, poor ladies. But all of you have been lovely about the fact that I am absolutely terrified about today. So thank you for your support and for your smiling faces, because it does help. We can give laughs. We can share stories. I can tell you so many stories about terrible networking experiences that I've had, and you can all learn from them, such as making sure you get someone's name right when you introduce them to other people. We can share facts and figures. I went to a conference recently and a statistic stuck in my mind that I have used in so many meetings since. It actually makes me sound a little bit clever to be able to quote a statistic, a percentage. It shows that I've got some knowledge, some value in what I've learned. But share some of those statistics. If you can increase, I don't know, something by 10% for someone, quote for them. That holds weight. Share your knowledge, share your encouragement, share some ideas, some motivation. So rather than what can we gain from today, what will I leave with, what can I give, what can I share, what can other people experience? Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to add to my list that kept on waking me up with words and going, empathy, that's free, we can give empathy.
Yes, I can.
You can.
I always make a point, and I did today, of looking for the person who's on their own,
Yes.
not talking to anyone.
Oh, thank you, Sue.
And because I've been in that situation, I've gone into a room and everyone seems to be talking, and you think you don't want to break up a conversation, but you want to be part of things. So look for that person who's looking like, oh, yikes.
So approach to someone. You look like you're nervous, or you haven't been there before. Just somebody who's
Is
not.
this your first time?
Yeah.
Know anyone?
Yeah. Any other?
Yeah, listening.
Listening.
Yes.
Perfect. And I will come on to listening, because active listening being very different to listening. Perfect. When it was COVID during lockdown, I went out for a dog walk on the one time that you were allowed out of the house for fresh air. And I'd explained to my daughter about people who were having to carry on working and people that were getting paid to stay at home to stay safe. And explaining to her that these people that were going out and still working were doing it because they needed to, because we needed them to. And we went on this dog walk, and there were two guys that were digging a hole in the road. And she walked past them, and she stopped, and she went, "Thank you, you're doing a good job." And I just thought, I'm so proud. I am so proud of you. And they stood there, I mean in their hole, so they were like down here. And they looked really pleased that someone had stopped and said, "Thank you, what you're doing is great." So even if we are just charging up our social energy by being in the room, as you said, if you're working from home and actually you just need a bit of people contact, you just need to have that boost. Let's be that boost for each other. Let's give each other that. So that costs us nothing. So if we leave the room and we don't have a full order book, but we have gained some knowledge, some constructive criticism, some smiles, some laughter, stories, some facts and figures, someone who's come up to us and made us feel welcome when we're standing on our own, then we have gained, even if we don't have a full order book. Top tips for networking. I mean, I can't talk, I don't always pre-plan, but generally speaking, we stand up and we do our 60-second, 30-second pitch. What are the key things? It's like storytelling. You have a beginning, a middle and an end. Who are you? Who are you and where are you coming from? That's your story to start with, yes? We have a middle. This is what we do, why we do it, how passionate we are, what makes us unique. So there is overlap within a room, but what makes us unique? Because we are all unique. And then finally, your solution, your end. This is what I can give you. This is your finale. This is your last chance, so make it a good ending. When it comes to networking, being genuine and being authentic is everything, I think. Steve Ennis from Business Doctors, you might have known him, you might have experienced some of his talks. The one that resonated most with me was talking about the authenticity triangle. So, 3 points. You've got your knowledge. You know what you do. You know your business better than anyone else. So share that knowledge. Have empathy for the people that you're speaking to, their situations. And then be your true, authentic self, because that's what people will buy into at the end of the day. So be genuine, be who you are. Be nervous as hell, if that's who you are. Ali's, again, sorry Ali, but Ali's told me that public speaking is the #1 fear, with number 3 being death, and number 2 being snakes and spiders. So if you'd rather be lying in a tub with snakes and spiders rather than public speaking, then don't reply when Steve emails you and says, I hope you enjoyed networking, would you like to speak? I'm going to finish really early. Oh, not that early, I've waffled a lot, okay. With, I've got 5 quotes. Okay, so the #1 is from Confucius, very highbrow, and it's breathing. So if you're in networking, it's your 30-second pitch or 60-second pitch, take a breath before you start. Confucius said, what has to be taught first is breath. It's literally the first thing. If you're nervous, take a breath. Slow yourself down and everything will just be reset. #2, biblical. Speak and you will be heard. That's not a direct quote because it's actually a much bigger quote than that. But everyone knows speak and you will be heard. But speak up. Bill Blow. Your projection, I know that this is what you do, it's exceptional. If other people in the room can't hear you when you speak, your 30-second pitch could be the most interesting in the room and half of us won't hear it. So take a breath and then say it loud and say it proud. #3, if anyone knows this film, you get extra points. Choose your next words carefully, for they may be your last. Gerald Butler in 300. Think about what you want to say, okay? They won't be your last, that's overly dramatic. But think carefully about what you could say. Talk with passion, talk with confidence. Use your words carefully. You've only got 30 seconds. It's not that much, but make a bit of an impact. #4, the pen is mightier than the sword. Now, that's an author, Edward, I can't read my writing. Edward someone, writing. If you are interested in what people have said, note it down. I know some of you were scribbling away. When that 30-second pitch comes around, we've spent the whole time going, right, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this. And then we do our 30-second pitch. Can anyone else remember in the room what everyone else's 30-second pitches were? Were there people that you thought, really, that's interesting? Or were we thinking, oh God, I'm going to have to do a 30-second pitch. I need to remember what I'm going to say. So if you want to, note a few things down, a few names, a few words. It will help you remember who was in the room. And if you walk out of today and you don't know who was in the room and what they were speaking about, all you've done is give some hot air. Your 30-second pitch and not gained anything. So make some notes. And final, famous quote from a doctor. My favourite doctor. What's the worst that could happen? Okay? Out of all of this, you fumble your words, you say the wrong thing, you mix it up, you do a 10-minute talk and it takes 14 minutes. What's the worst that can happen? I will walk out of here today, I'll go back to the office, I'll go, oh God, that's terrible. It's done. It's all done. It's finished with. So what's the worst that could happen? Put yourself out there. Keep talking about what you're doing. Keep promoting yourselves. At the end of the day, you're just here to promote your businesses, and everyone in the room is wanting to support you, because that's what we're all here for. So that is my team talk for the day. Thank you very much. I'm going to enjoy my